One of the great Ryne Sandberg games. That was in '84 in June against Suter and the Cardinals. The '84 Cubs, of course, were very good. Ryno was tremendous. They won 96, lost to San Diego in the postseason in that 5-game series. There's going to be a statue now of Ryne with the great Cubbies, Sano, Banks, Billy Williams, people like that. And that's going to be in 2024. The Hall of Fame second baseman says hello. Ryne, nice to talk. And that is a heck of a game. You know, it's funny. You had a lot of great games. Everybody remembers that one. Costas, Kubek, NBC. That game goes down in history as far as you are concerned and the Cubs. How about that for a sec? Let me hear.
Changed my whole career in one game. Took my expectations as a player to a whole nother level, and I think the fans as well. But, yeah, a Saturday game of the week, everybody watching. I believe we're a half a game out of first place at the start of that game, and with that win, really, I think it really sent a message to our ball club that maybe we had something special here and we were in first place, and we didn't give it up the rest of the year. But as far as one game changing a career, I don't think I'd be a Hall of Famer or have a statue if it wasn't for the catapult of that one game facing Bruce Suter. And that was the big thing about it. A dominant ground ball pitcher being able to elevate 2 pitches for home runs. You didn't see that off of Bruce.
100% right. He, of course, 82, closed it for the Cardinals when they won a championship. You were 36-31, a game and a half back, and you won 96 games that year, Ryne. You had a heck of a season. And, you know, you were on 2 great Cub teams. You know, you had a great career there, and you had the 2 cracks, the 5 games against San Diego, and you had the Giants. That was a great series, a lot of close games, and you could have won that, too, on a great Cub team in '89 with Dawson and folks like that. Talk about those 2 great Cub teams that you anchored. Go ahead.
Yeah, 84, that was my 3rd year in the major leagues, and a huge trade at the end of spring training for Gary Matthews and Bob Dernier from the Phillies. Bob Dernier, I played with the minor leagues. He slotted into the leadoff spot. Good speed there. Gary Matthews, the Sarge, batting behind me, 3rd. RBI guy. Leon Durham. Ron Say, at that point, coming over from the Dodgers. Jody Davis, Keith Moreland, Boa, of course. But that team was built. I was the youngest one on the club by far. So that team was pretty much put together by Dallas Green, with a very short 2-year window of maybe 84, 85. We got out of the chute and was in first place in June. And then all of our 5 starting pitchers went on the DL at the same time, and we fell off in 85. And then they started to break up the team because of the veteran players that we had. 89 was more of a veteran player, along with mainstays Scott Sanderson and Rick Sutcliffe from the 84 team. Add Andre Dawson to that, and then a new core group of young players: Mark Grace, Joe Girardi, Greg Maddox, Jerome Walton, Dwight Smith, Mike Bielecki. These guys were the new young core group, and I was just a veteran amongst youngsters. Loved that team. Don Zimmer was the manager, and Zim, everything that Zim tried that year worked. I even saw a bases loaded hit and run at Shea Stadium with Manny Trio up at the plate on a full 2 count. It wasn't a hit and run. It was a full count, bases loaded, 1 out. Send the runners, and then Zim had trust in Manny Trio, huge contact guy, to put the ball in play. And I think it was the ball 4, walked in a run. But everything that Zim tried worked. It was a good bunch of young guys, and we fell short, like you mentioned, to the Giants in postseason. But boy, would I have liked to have had that '84 team win 1 more game in San Diego, best of 5 series, and go and play the Tigers, 2 old franchises like that. That would have been incredible.
And I think the Cubs could have beaten Detroit, and that was that wonderful Detroit team. Remember, folks, this is important. '84 is the last of the 5-game series. And remember, because the next year they went to best of 7 in the NLCS. And also remember, the Cubs had a better record than San Diego, but did not get home field. It was 2-3. So you had to play the last 3 games in San Diego, Ryne. If it was the way it is now, 2-2-1, after Garvey tied the series up in Game 4, if the game was back in Chicago for the 5th game, you would have won the pennant that year. I'm sure you've thought about it. Go ahead. Let me hear.
And the reason being, they said, was because we didn't have lights. We were the only stadium in '84 without lights. So primetime TV, advertising, more people could watch, obviously, at night. one of the games was taken away, and what a difference that made. I mean, we beat them pretty badly in the first 2 games. Took a flight to San Diego, and 3 very exciting, tight games. We came on the short end of all 3 of those and came up short. But yeah, the very next year, going to the 7-game series, thought about that. Steve Trout only got to pitch 1 of those games in the 5-game series. He won game 2 pretty handily. He only had 1 shot at it. And I think our starting pitching would have really done well in a 7-game series.
100%. Ryne, you tried managing. You did it in the minor leagues for a long time, obviously with the Phils, too. You know, it's tricky to manage with a great Hall of Famer like you were. Give me some thoughts on that career for a sec. Go ahead.
I loved it. 6 years in the minor leagues, starting from A-ball in Peoria. I worked my way up to AAA, Des Moines, Iowa, and then Lehigh Valley for 2 years with the Phillies. Really learned about the game and appreciated the game from all levels, from the front office to scouting to the general managers to all the positions on the field. I really got a lot out of that. I enjoyed the young players. Was able to be the third base coach under Charlie Manuel, which was an outstanding opportunity. Charlie, one of the best guys in baseball, in my opinion. He was awesome. He was a winner in Philadelphia. And then when they made a change there, and I got a chance to manage the Phillies for 2 years, the cards just weren't set up for wins. We were actually projected those 2 spring trainings to finish last in our division those 2 years, which we accomplished. So I kind of got that off my chest. No more managing for me. I'm enjoying my ambassador role with the Cubs. And when I left the Phillies in June, I rejoined the Cubbies thanks to Tom Ricketts and Theo Epstein and Joe Madden, and they welcomed me right aboard. And I was there for the whole 16 World Series run for the Cubs. Got a World Series ring out of that, being an ambassador and a Hall of Famer of the team. So there's no looking back there, and I'm still remaining in that role with the Cubs as they try and rebuild and go with a new core group and young players. I think they have one of the top 5 minor league systems in all of baseball, so that's a good thing. So I think another postseason run is right around the corner for the Cubs.
82 was Robin Youch here. 84 is Ryne Sandberg, your Hall of Famer. Nice to talk there, Ryne. Keep up the good work. We'll get you again. Appreciate you coming on here.
Hey, sounds good. Love your show always.
Good job, Mr. Sandberg. Always a pleasure. Good man. Lots to still do. Stephen Vogt is going to join Alana next. We look forward to that conversation. He's the new bullpen catcher of coach of the Mariners. Stick with us.